So I posted a short. It actually got a decent amount of traction, but a lot of the feedback that I got was, hello, Veronica, how can we get to $100,000 a year in 90 days or less? You didn't give us the step-by-step guide. You gave us some general information. Yes, I heard y'all. I got the feedback. All right, fine, that's on me. So today, that's what I'm gonna give you. It's a step-by-step guide on how to get to $100,000 a year salary in 90 days or less. Let's go. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Veronica, and I'm going to tell you how to get to $100,000 a year salary in 90 days. I'm sure that there's several different ways that you could do this, but I'm gonna tell you the way that I did it and the way that I teach my students to do it as well. If you haven't seen my very first video, you can check the link here. It's how I quit my six-figure job. Basically, my backstory is that, I'll give you the shortened version of it. I was working in a lab for $50,000 a year and I completely hated it. It was terrible. I had just graduated from college and I felt like this was a complete and utter waste of my time and my skill set, and I needed a better situation for myself. So step one, I found out what project management was. I had heard from other people that there were jobs that you could get where you didn't need to have a college degree necessarily. All you needed was a certification, and that these jobs paid $100,000 a year plus, and they were actually really in demand in the market. So I did my research. There was a couple divine interventions that occurred, and that led me to finding project management. The more I looked into it, I discovered that I met the qualifications to sit for the project management professional exam. Now let me stop right there. There are qualifications that you have to meet for you to be approved to sit for your project management professional exam. The common misconception is that the majority of people don't meet these qualifications. I find that that's actually quite the opposite. If you've been working for the past 5 years, if you've been working for the past 3 years and you have a degree, it's likely that you probably do meet these qualifications based on your experience. If you're not sure about that and you're really interested in becoming a project manager, send me a message. Contact me in the comments. I will literally review your resume for free and let you know whether or not, based on your experience, you meet the qualifications. Do not let the qualifications for the project management professional exam fool you into thinking that there's absolutely no way that you have the necessary experience to be successful. No. So you have questions about that, contact me. I will review your resume for free. No commitments, free of charge. Now let's get back to the story. So I find out about this certification and I'm immediately like, if I can get certified and make $100,000 a year, I'm going to do that. So I quit that job. I'm like, I'm done. I'm done with this $50K a year job that I hate. Bye-bye. And I go and I find a project management certification class. And what this class is exactly what we teach. It's a prep course for you to sit for the PMP certification class. It gives you everything that you need to know for you to pass the exam. And the class that I found was an advanced class. It was 2 weeks long, 8 hours a day. Every day except for the weekends for 2 weeks. When you're in class for 8 hours a day for 2 weeks, that can feel like a draining experience. But I made it through. I was like, look, I don't care. I'll do whatever it takes. I need to get this certification. I need to know if I can really get to $100,000 a year just based on this certification. And another quick caveat. If you're going to get to 6 figures in 90 days or less, that means your class needs to be an advanced class. We teach boot camp classes. We can literally prepare you to sit for your project management professional exam over the course of 2 weekends. All day Saturday and all day Sunday. You do that twice. You've passed the boot camp. You get a certification of completion from us, and then you go and you sit for your PMP examination. So the 90 days or less has a caveat. You have to go through an advanced class. You can't take a 5-week class and then study and study and study for 2 more months and then say, Veronica, I didn't get to $100,000 in 90 days or less. Yeah, because you weren't moving quickly enough. If you're going to make this happen in the time frame that I have described, you need to take an advanced course. So I go through and I take this advanced course, I get through it. 2 weeks later, boom, I'm done with the course. It's the second step. The first one, did the research. The second one, took the advanced course. It took me 2 weeks. Step 3, I immediately started taking practice exams. Do not wait to start taking practice exams. I don't care how nervous you are. I don't care how insecure you feel. You can tell me all day, well, Veronica, I just didn't feel like I was ready to start taking the practice exams. This is not about whether or not you feel ready. Do you want to get to the bag? Yes or no? Do not wait to start taking your practice exams. Don't wait. It doesn't matter if you go through your practice exams and you're getting a 0 or a 20 or a 30 or a 40. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you are starting to adjust to the information that you are going to see on your actual PMP certification exam. And the most important thing about that is the language. Just like a standardized test, if you can read through the language and kind of siphon through all the noise that's in the question, you can clearly identify what the answer is expected to be. I see this from so many people where they study and they study and they study and they study and they don't just start taking practice exams. Start taking practice exams. One more time for the people in the back. Start taking practice exams now. Do not wait. The more practice you get under your belt, the better off you're gonna be on exam day. Now, all practice exams are not created equal. They're just not. Trust me, and I've seen some bad ones. And when I say bad, what I mean is that the questions do not look anything like what you see on the actual PMP exam. The questions need to accurately mirror or reflect what it is that you're going to encounter on exam day. Now, I do know the absolute best provider of practice exams in the space, period. I will give you a link and tell you directly where you can go to get the best practice exams that are the most accurate on the market. Contact me directly, okay? Send me a message privately, shoot us an email. You can contact me through our website. The link is in the bio, www.pmpmastermind.com. If you need that, I'm here as a resource for you. Just reach out to me. So I went straight in and I started taking these practice exams, and I did this while I was studying. I didn't study first and then do the practice exams. I did them both at the same time. And that really perfected the knowledge that I needed to be successful on the exam. Now, speaking of studying, that brings us to step number 4. Read the PMBOK. It astonishes me how many people come to me and say, Veronica, what do you think is the best study resource to take the project management professional exam? What do I think is the best study resource? It's obviously going to be the PMBOK. Why? Because it's written by the people who write the PMP exam. The PMP exam is based on the information that's in the PMBOK. Don't go around to all these other test prep companies looking for resources for your PMP exam. You need to read the PMBOK. That's Project Management Book of Knowledge. You can buy it on Amazon. It's not that hard to obtain, and it's not even that expensive. You can get a physical copy or you can get a digital copy. And some of them come with an agile guide, which you will also need, which is also written by the same people who write the exam. I mean, come on, guys. Come on. You're killing me here. You don't need to go out and purchase note cards that are written by some bozo so that he can make a little bit of extra money. PMI, they are the institution that writes the exam. They issue the credential. They have provided you with the project management book of knowledge so that you can study and be successful on the exam. Just think about it. It's not that hard, I promise you. And a lot of people, after I give them this advice, they come back, they say, oh my gosh, the PMBOK is really thick. I mean, I'm so intimidated. I can't get through it. If you will just open the book, you will see that the majority of the information that's in the PMBOK are diagrams or pictures or charts. And the actual wording that you read, the font is huge and there's not that much on the page. I'm telling you, it's not a difficult read. You could probably get through the whole thing with some willpower in a week, maybe less. So please, 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 do not go looking for all these other resources when you can go straight to the key resource, and that is your PMBOK and your Agile guide. Now, for those of you who have asked me, do I absolutely need the Agile guide? I would say yes. When you go on Amazon and you select to purchase your PMBOK, there are gonna be some that come with the Agile guide. You want to purchase the ones that come with the Agile guide. And the reason why is twofold. Number one, Agile is a very popular methodology. You're likely going to be working with it while you are in your project management career, so you want to have a better understanding of that methodology and all of its practices and principles. Part two is because the current PMP exam really leans heavily on Agile practices, having knowledge of Agile as methodology. So you need to make sure that you're familiar with that information, not just for success in your career, but also for success on your exam. Step 5. Schedule your exam. I know, it seems so simple, but so many people put off scheduling their exam because they're afraid. They're like, oh my gosh, what if I'm not ready? You're never gonna feel ready. Schedule your exam. I had a 2-week class. I studied for 2 weeks and I immediately scheduled my exam as soon as I could. Do not wait to schedule your exam. And there's reasoning behind this. Number one, you're never gonna feel ready. You're just not. Don't waste your time, all right? Get it scheduled. If you're reading your PMBOK and you're taking your practice exams and you're studying diligently, you're going to pass. That's number one. Number two is because once you submit your application, you get approved and you can schedule your exam, you don't know what the availability is going to be to take it. You can't just take your exam willy-nilly on any day. You have to go and look at the calendar for your area and make sure that there is availability for you to take your exam on the day that you want. So you don't want to wait until the last minute and then you go and look and it turns out now you can't test for another 4 weeks. As soon as you can schedule your exam, you need to schedule it. Go on PMI.org, access your profile, schedule your exam. Don't waste any time. The other reason that you want to hurry up and schedule your exam is because you need to give yourself a set time frame. This is so important. A lot of us are the type of people where if there's no definite ending, we just drag it on and on and on. It's okay for you to put some pressure on yourself. You'll survive. It's not that scary, I assure you. Give yourself a set time frame. Remember, you're likely not going to feel ready, but that's okay. If you have been studying diligently, taking your practice exams, reading your PMBOK, reading your Agile guide, you're going to be fine. Schedule the exam, that way you know when you have to take it and you know when you have to be ready. That's what I did. Step 6. Now, listen to me carefully when I say this. This is what I did, okay? If you're not comfortable doing this, then that's 100% on you. But I was comfortable because I already knew what the deal was. I was determined to pass on the first try, so I was not wasting any time. Remember, I had quit my job. I needed a new job. I needed to get to the bag immediately. So as soon as I scheduled my exam, I updated my resume, I put on there PMP certified, and I started sending it off. Now I know the haters are gonna say, wow, you really said on your resume that you were PMP certified and you hadn't even taken your exam yet? Yeah, Of course I did. Why? Because on average, it takes 3 months from the day you start applying to the day you have your butt in an actual seat at a new job. Do you think I had time to waste? No. And I knew I was gonna pass on the first try. Why? Because I was gonna make it happen. Remember, I keep investing in the only person that continues to come through. That's me. I suggest you invest in yourself as well. So I went ahead and updated my resume and I immediately started sending it out to jobs. I wanted recruiters to know, hey, I'm in the market, I'm certified, this is my background, this is my experience. If you have an employer that's looking, call your girl, I'm ready to go. So I started doing that. I take my exam, of course I pass above target, all 3 sections, and then the recruiters start calling. It was like clockwork. And I was so excited, but I was still nervous, right? Because they say it's a 6-figure certification, but then you start thinking to yourself, well, what if they don't want to pay me 6 figures? I mean, is that part actually true? Let me tell you, it's true. So I go and I get a call from a company directly, not a recruiter, an HR manager at a biotech company, and they contact me. They say, hey, we saw your resume and we're interested to bring you in for this position. And it was a research and development senior project manager. Now, the very first thought that pops in my mind is, girl, you're not qualified for that. There's no way that you're qualified for a research and development senior project manager position at a biotech company. No, absolutely not. And you know what I did next? That thought was fleeting. I pushed it right on out of my mind. You wanna know why? Because who cares? Who cares? If somebody else is coming to me and saying, based on your experience, we think you'd be a great fit for this job, who am I to talk myself out of my own success? Who does that? Who does that? And we as people, we do that all the time, but you can't sit in that space. You cannot sit in that space. If someone else comes to you and says you're qualified, are you gonna go back to them and be like, no, I don't think I'm qualified? Really? Why would you do that? No, even if you think you aren't qualified for the job, commit yourself to being open and willing to learn while you're on your journey. The jobs are gonna train you. They're gonna train you about their culture, about the way they do things, about their expectations of you. And anything that you don't immediately know, you can go and learn really easily. We live in the digital age. This isn't our parents' or our grandparents' generation where you had to go in an encyclopedia and try to find what you're looking for just to go through 10 and never find what you're looking for. Like, come on. This is the modern day. If I don't know something, guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna Google it because it's not that difficult. It's really not. Come on now, think about it. So I show up for this interview. It goes great. I'm super excited. They put me through 3 more interviews after that first one and I get the job. I'm still in the back of my mind thinking, do I know what I'm doing? I have no idea. I've just passed my PMP exam. I just got certified. I'm super new to this, but I got the job. They offered me $100,000 a year. I went back and told them that I wanted $110,000 a year because you're always supposed to negotiate. If you don't know how to negotiate your salary and you want me to do a video on that, please let me know in the comments. I will be more than happy to do it. So many people don't negotiate their salary. Do not be a fool. They have money to spend. You need to negotiate. So I told them I wanted 110, or maybe I said 115, and they came back and said 100,000 was our budget, but we can go up to 105. Hey, I'll take an extra $5,000. So I signed on the dotted line, and that was my very first certified project management position. All of that happened in a span of 90 days. In the span of 90 days. With the caveat that I didn't actually start the job until 2 weeks after that because I already had a vacation planned. But from start to actually getting the job, 90 days. $105,000 a year in 90 days. And that's how it's done. It's not even that hard. That is what I teach my students to do. The market is short project managers. They need people like you. It's not just tech. I was in biotech. I moved into healthcare, which I had some experience in. But it doesn't just have to be a tech role. There's construction project managers in the energy sector, there's project managers in healthcare, there's project managers in finance and fintech, and let me tell you, those are really bankrolling. You think tech project managers make money? You better ask a fintech project manager how they're doing. They're doing quite well. And the market needs people that are certified, that can prove that they have met the gold standard regulations set by PMI. You have the skill set, you have the foundation. The only person that's in between you and $100,000 a year salary is you. We're in the middle of hiring season right now. January to the end of February, sometimes early March, that Q1 area, that's hiring season for a lot of these big corporations. My students are getting blown up by recruiters. They've got interview after interview after interview. They've got options they're negotiating because the market really does need PMs right now, especially certified PMs. All right, you need to have the certification if you're gonna make the big bucks. You can be a project manager and not be certified, but it's not likely that you're cracking 6 figures a year. And that's the goal for all of my students. We don't deal in anything less than 6 figures, unless you want to. I mean, that's completely up to you. But you guys wanted me to give you the step-by-step guide on how I made it to 6-figure salary in 90 days. That's how I did it. I just followed those steps. Obviously, I dressed up for my interview. I made sure that I presented myself well. I did my research on the company, all of those things. I polished up my resume. If you guys are looking for a skill set advice like that, those are all things that we teach in our group project management professional development accelerator program. All right, now I know that was a lot of words, but it's basically a group coaching that we offer. In the first 5 weeks is a live PMP prep course that we teach. And then after, you go into a 4-week professional development program. That's where we give you all of the foundational skill sets that you'll need. We teach you how to polish up your resume. We do mock interviews with you, and we also help you to cultivate a project management portfolio. Because a lot of the times in these interviews for project manager roles, they'll come and ask you, hey, can you show me an example of your work? And if you don't know they're gonna ask you that question, all of a sudden you're like, oh, yeah, I just need to go back to the house and get it real quick. And they'll give you a little bit of time, right? You probably have 24 hours to produce something, but you will have a full project management portfolio by the time you've completed our group coaching 9-week course. Those of you that are trying to get started much more rapidly than that, we do our boot camps, all right? We will have you prepped and ready to go to sit for your project management certification exam in 2 weeks. It's no work during the work week, all right? It's only on Saturdays and Sundays. You do 8 hours a day on Saturday and Sunday twice, 2 weekends in a row. And after that, you're good to go. If you want to add on services like mock interviews and resumes and a project management portfolio, then you can add those on separately with us, but it's not included in the boot camp. All right, guys, that's all I had for you today. If you found this content helpful, please give us a like, subscribe to my channel. We'll be dropping new information for you guys every week. And again, if you're interested in becoming a certified project manager, hit us at the link in the bio, www.pmpmastermind.com. All right, until next time, peace.